Hey everyone, it's Kristen. Today we're going to be talking about this. This crossover took place in 1981. To me, it's always interesting how they do crossovers between the two companies because that doesn't happen very often. And of course, they're two separate universes entirely. And so how they bring them together is always really interesting to me. So this one starts off with, well, it's a shadowy figure, but if you look at the back cover, you know who the main villain is. It's Darkseid. Apparently, he's trying to gain the secret power, of the source and the limitless power that it contains, and it's actually depicted as a physical wall in this series. And Metron, who's usually a passive figure. He usually just cares about knowledge and stuff, and he has this chair that can basically take him anywhere, transport him anywhere through time and space, and he just wants the knowledge that's behind the wall. And Darkseid's well, do what you gotta do. We'll each have our heart's desire at the end of this, because Darkseid, of course, what he cares about is power. And so we open on the X-Mansion, and X-Men doing what they usually are doing when we open on them, training in the danger room. It's usually how we find them. Anyway, so basically what happens is someone, which we know is Darkseid, is tapping into their thoughts to gain knowledge of Jean, as the Phoenix. And they all have these nightmares about her. And Kitty sees the space in her dreams, which we know is Darkseid, but of course she doesn't know who that is. And of course, Scott, being the most connected to Jean appears to him and says, Scott, my love, please help me. And he does this a lot. He's like, Jean. That's what he does. And so basically, Raven from the Teen Titans, the new Teen Titans, which, here's the Titans Tower. It's an actual T. I guess, kind of the Avengers Tower is an A, so, it makes sense. But she has dreams. She's an empath, and she, also from a, her father was other dimensional demon lord, so she has all kinds of power. She has a dream about the Phoenix, and she has she feels this overwhelming insatiable desire, and it's it frightens her, so she screams, and Starfire comes running and is what's wrong? And Raven says, well, I saw that Earth transformed into a burning wasteland, and people stripped of their humanity. And Starfire, Corey, is it was only a dream. It's fine. And Starfire reminds her, well, but sometimes my dreams actually come true. Sometimes they're not just dreams, they're premonitions. So this is something we really do need to be concerned about. And so they're talking about what it was. It was a firebird, a phoenix. And so Changeling, who some of you might know as Beast Boy, but he's Changeling here, he turns into a phoenix, because everyone knows a phoenix, it's a firebird. And Starfire freaks out and grabs his neck, and then she realizes what she's done. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And he laughs and says, it's okay, it's not a big deal. And she says, well, in my, my rage, I could have killed you. And she explains later, why she freaks out. But then, we see the Teen Titans, and they're all over the city, and we see Robin. He's fighting with Deathstroke, but he's called Terminator here. And basically, and then we see the X-Men, they are at Jean's parents' house because Jean appeared to them also, and they reached out and they said, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I thought my daughter was dead. I thought that's what you told me, that she was dead. So why did she appear to us? Like, what's going on? And the X-Men, they don't have any answers for them, which I think is even worse, because you would think if your dead daughter appeared to you, you would want answers too. I mean, and if no one could give them to you, then yeah, you'd be freaking out too. Then Xavier realizes that there's all these disruptions going on in all these places that the Phoenix Force first showed her powers and manifested her powers. And so then Teen Titans on the next page find Robin and explain to him what's going on, because they put out an all, a bulletin, APB, no, all Teen Titans gather. We have a situation, and he didn't answer because he got beat up by the Terminator, or by Terminator. I shouldn't say the Terminator, because that makes me think Arnold Schwarzenegger. But anyway, so they find him, explain what's going on, and this is where we learn of how Starfire knows about Phoenix, because she called Phoenix, the evil one. She's like, I've searched the city. There's no sign of the evil one. What she says is she comes from Tamaron, not of the Earth, but of star people. And what happened is, before she escaped to Earth and joined the Teen Titans, they were contacted, as all major starfaring races were, by Lilandra, Empress of the Shi'ar, which is the connection between, Marvel and DC, is Starfire. So I find that interesting that they use just this one little piece of information, one little chunk, to bring the universes together. So anyway, Starfire says that Lilandra contacted them, told of Phoenix what she did. She saved the universe, and then the power that she gained drove her mad, and she consumed an entire star system, killing 5 billion Dabari inhabitants, and it was nothing to her. She didn't care. The Phoenix Force itself was hungry, and so she feasted. And so the Lilandra was like warning everyone about this, and that we need to take care of her. And basically, she's like, if you guys don't want to help me, I will deal with this by myself. And of course, the Teen Titans, being a team, they're like, no, of course we'll help you. We're all in this together. And so the last place that they know of the Phoenix Force was Jean Grey, of course, and she was a member of the X-Men. So what they do is they go to the X-Mansion, and you see Starfire just busting right in, and Xavier stops her with, his mind, but he says just barely, was able to stun her. And then what happens is they get attacked by Darkseid's shock troops, because basically they're at the wrong place, wrong time, because really they're looking for the X-Men to extract more memories, so to speak, from them of the Phoenix. Basically what he's trying to do is he's trying to recreate the Phoenix. But you don't realize that until later in the comic books, but that's what he's trying to do, and that's why he wants the X-Men, so that he can recreate them. So they missed Beast Boy, Changeling, sorry, in all the confusion, so he kind of hides back, thinking that he'll save them. So the X-Men go to New Mexico, because that's one of the places that the Phoenix Force manifested itself, and one of the places that they sensed that Professor Xavier sensed this disturbance. And there they find a Terminator, and he has this machine which was made by Darkseid to further extract Phoenix Force energy, like Dark Phoenix energy, like all the places that the Phoenix Force manifested. He built these machines to extract the energy from them in order to hopefully recreate the whole thing, like recreate the Phoenix Force, recreate the Dark Phoenix for his own purposes. So they confront Terminator. Unfortunately, he beats them all up. They don't stand a chance, which, you know, between Terminator and the shock troops, they don't stand a chance. And Darkseid's like to his shock troops, is this a joke? If it is, I'm not amused. Because they, instead of getting the X-Men, got the Teen Titans. And Darkseid said, you captured the X-Men's mentor, yeah, but alone he's hardly sufficient for my purposes. I don't know these other creatures. I don't know who they are. And then Terminator shows up and says, they're the Teen Titans. Like, they screwed it up. But hey, I managed to catch the X-Men, so there you go. Props to me. Basically, they put them all in like stasis. You can see it right here. And then you see this, like you can see that their faces in agony as they're like extracting more memories and more thoughts of Jean. And then you see this. And of course she says, who dares? Because through the places that he put those machines and he extracted the energy from, and then through all of the X-Men and he extracted their memories, he was able to like recreate her. And basically then we have this dramatic panel, like who summons Dark Phoenix, and Darkseid says, you know, it's I, Darkseid. So basically there's a lot more to go through, so we'll quit on that dramatic panel and we'll pick up next time. But like I said in the beginning, I just think it's interesting how they were able to use Starfire as an alien race to connect the two universes, and how she knows about Lilandra and therefore knows about Phoenix and therefore knows about the X-Men or this universe. Although it's weird because, you know, in like the more updated DC versus Marvel that I did a video on, of course, they're totally separate universes, totally separate like planes of existence. And here it makes it seem like they're in the same like Earth, same planet, same existence, because of course they run into each other and they are extracted. Basically, well, I mean, the Teen Titans go to the X-Men's mansion, so it makes it seem like they're all on the same Earth. So it's just interesting how they played it that way, and yet they don't talk about it's just a brief mention, like, hey, they went to the X mansion, but they don't ever talk about the fact that, hey, they've never run into each other before, like if they're on the same plane or the same existence. Anyway, like I said, I always think these crossover issues are cool because I like seeing how they deal with the fact that they're two totally separate companies, two separate universes, and yet somehow they exist in the same universe, but they don't. Anyway, I hope you join me for the next video, the conclusion of this, and until next time, bye.